Okay, so now I've put two videos up, and at this point I'm going to do a third, and I know that at this point everybody's thinking, if they haven't already, oh, he's a Federer fan, that's all he does is talk about Roger. Honestly, I'm not trying to do that. It just seems like whether he's losing or winning, he brings up a lot of things that I can talk about. Nothing against Rafa, but Rafa just did a real handy, I mean, that's Rafa. The way he did Canada, that's classic Nadal in my opinion. I don't care what surface or whatever. The mentality of just coming in, he's going to be a little rusty, but taking care of business, getting it done. Again, the Montreal surface is a little quicker, but no big deal. It's not that. I mean, it's slower than Cincy. It might even end up being, I mean, it's hard to say again because the U.S. Open is variable. So on one hand, the U.S. Open may be slower than Montreal, but on the other hand, it can be faster. So again, I'll talk more about that on other videos. But, you know, so the conditions suit Rafa in Canada. They always have. But, yeah, no, but, you know, I don't want to, you know, for Rafa fans out there who are going to flip when I say, oh, it's all about conditions. Of course it's not. In the end of the day, it's how these conditions affect the player. I go from the outside in. Climate, surface, ball, player, physical, mental, emotional. Last but not least, you know, I start from the beginning. I mean, from the first thing is climate, but the most important thing is emotional. So you go down the line, you get into the thing. Rafa was in, you know, fine shape in all those aspects of his being and won Canada easily. Now, I want to talk a bit real quick here about Roger. Roger is flat. He's flat in this match. I would almost go as far as flat body. These are the ways I'll start to introduce my player pages and the specific designations for each wording I use. Even if the words are a capital or a small letter, I have explanation marks. I have all kinds of creativity that has gone into this system, and I enjoy it. And I know exactly what I'm talking about, but one day I'll have to do a glossary on what I mean by everything. But anyway, so we all know what flat means. It just means you're not a lot of life, not a lot of energy, and it can be very emotional. A lot of times it is emotional, but it can be physical, mental, the whole thing together. Many, many, many reasons why you can be flat. And then when I say flat body, that means it's in the body as well. And sometimes it can be very physical. A person maybe wants to play that day or feels it in a certain way from his mind, or even likes the matchup he has, which sometimes can pull him through, or he or her pull a player through if the matchup is suited to them. But their body is just dragging. That's like a flat body. Now Roger, I'm not sure when I want to give him a flat or a flat body. But let me just say this, he's an older guy, okay? I think sometimes we forget this, he's older. He just had pretty much, let's just be honest, a horrendous loss against Djokovic. He can say what he wants and whatever, but he was pretty much dictating the match, the whole match, and lost. That is, and Wimbledon final, and how many years does he have left? I mean, horrible. That was terrible. So emotionally, yes, he goes with his family, takes a trip, a vacation, but that was tough. Comes back, he's definitely got some flatness. Now, the first match, you know, different opponent. That's another thing. It's always about matchups and the opponent as well. Rublev is a powerful, aggressive player. Great for these conditions here. Again, medium fast, not fast, medium fast. Great for Rublev. Roger definitely is having some hangover effect. Maybe even had it the first round, but didn't have the right opponent to beat him. This round he did. But I would go maybe a step further, and, you know, it's hard to know these things exactly, but if you do it over time, you see patterns, so you can kind of get that. But anyway, it's a flat body, let's say. Because, you know, a lot of times with players, I've seen it many times, especially an older guy, where you get one match under your belt. You certainly aren't tired. It's not just full out body, or it's not body fatigue or anything like that. You only had one match, and then he had a day off. But sometimes that makes it even worse. You could play, then play the next day, get a rhythm going. Whereas you play, have a day off, play again, and now you feel flat, and maybe even a flat body. So whatever's going on with Roger, I want to show this point right now. At the end of the match, he's trying to hold to stay in the match. He's trying to come to the net, and we'll see more of the conditions where the ball's checking a bit too. But more than that, Roger's flat, and his legs aren't moving that great. Just check this out. Okay? So trying to get in, it's just, the legs aren't moving. It's flat. That's a flat body, all right? And again, I don't want to, go too much more into conditions again. I've done that a lot already. But as we see here, that serve to the body, that's a nice serve to the body. And it's pretty quick through the air there and gets right into Rublev. and then tries to get a nice big backhand going the other way, but it's not big enough. He's a little flat in the legs on it and doesn't get a big one. He's a little flat. His legs aren't moving great here. But now that ball checked up too for Rublev. So another dipping passing shot. Now this one he kept, that's a beautiful volley, but again it checks up. There is sanding in the court. It checked up just a bit. Rublev gets this, but that one, Roger should have finished that. He actually played that point brilliantly and just didn't finish it. And you can, I don't know if you guys can see there, look at it again, his legs aren't moving that great. He's got a flat body. And again, I don't know, maybe take the body out. Whatever it is, he's definitely flat, that's for sure. This doesn't take away from Rublev. Roger could beat a lot of guys like this, but even that point, he played that point really well, almost perfectly. But again, the ball's checking a bit. Rublev's able to run it down. Rublev's fired up and finishing this thing out and playing tough. And but that last point there, that was, I mean, that last shot, that's the winner for Roger. That is just a slow moving, and this is the end of a match. He's supposed to be fighting for his life here. He loves this tournament. He wants to win this tournament. He's flat.